Hi, everybody. I'm Sandy Sandler, the creator of Bowdabra, and I'm so excited to have Nick Creticos of Nick Seasonal Decor with us tonight. And Nick is going to do some amazing bows and a wreath, and he's going to focus on spring. So I'm just going to hand it over to Nick and let you get started, Nick.
Hi, everyone. Yes, lots of spring bows are in the forecast. So, Mother Nature has not been treating us very well. Well, I mean, it depends on the day. So, some days we've been having 65-degree days, almost 70, and other days have been like 50. But I'm ready for spring, so I'm going to teach you how to make a bunch of spring bows. So, we're going to be using both of our Bowdabras again tonight. So, on my left or your right is the large Bowdabra. And then the other side, which is this cute little thing, is the mini Bowdabra. So I'm going to show you guys how to use both of these devices. They're pretty much the exact same. Only difference is that this one is a little bit cuter and a little bit smaller. So Alex is
Oh, wait a
behind the.
second.
Yeah, our camera just went out, I think.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. No, I can see it. So,
Oh,
Let's see. Oh, yeah, it's on
all
oh,
right,
my.
there you
there we
go.
go.
There we
Sorry
go. So,
about that,
hi everyone.
everybody.
I apologize about that. So, as I was just saying, we're going to be using both the large and the mini Bodabra. And there we go. We're back. So, I hope everybody had a great weekend. So, it's been a little while. Last time I saw you guys was the end of February, and here it is, almost the end of March. So, I hope everybody had a great weekend. And let me just quickly share this video so we can get our people here. So we're going to start with the large Bodabra. And in case you missed the intro, I know we had a little bit of technical difficulty. Alex is behind the camera tonight, so make sure to say hi to Alex as you come in.
Hey everyone, so happy to be back with you all.
Yes, so we're also going to be using our wire. So this comes in both silver and gold. It's a 100-yard spool of Bodabra wire. You can find all of the products we're using tonight at nickseasonaldecor.com. We are proud to carry both the large and the mini Bodabra, as well as both wires in silver and gold. So we're going to start with the length of this wire. I cut it about 14 inches, give or take, on either side. And all we're going to do is just simply place that into the slit on the top of the Bodabra. So we're going to start with the large Bodabra. So see what I'm doing, just placing it right on the top. And then what I like to do is I like to take my tails or the wires and tuck them underneath. So I use my Bodabra a little bit differently than a lot of other designers, and I rotate it. So instead of keeping my Bodabra like this and then working my ribbons in, you're going to see me continuously rotate this as we work in each piece of ribbon. So let me just see any comments. Are you able to see any comments? I see
Looking for
Leslie.
you.
Josephine is here. So don't be shy if you're catching the replay or if you're watching live. Do me a huge favor. If I've taught you something at some point or another, or if you are new here, comment down below that you're watching. I always appreciate when you guys kind of interact with us. It makes things a lot more fun. So we're going to start with this yellow polka dot ribbon. I'm going to start by cutting a length of tails. So what kind of bow? I think we can do any kind of bow with this.
Yeah.
Let's do a funky bow with long tails. We haven't done that in a long time. So just cut a length of tails. This is about 20 inches on either side, give or take. Hey, Robin. Robin's from Florida. Yes, let us know where you're from, and you could be our lucky winner tonight. Bowdabra is going to give away a free roll of scrunchy ribbon, and all you have to do is just say anything. Say anything down below, and you could be entered to win. So, hey, Laura. Laura's watching just south of Boston, and Laura, we are filming live just north of Boston. So, small world. So now we're going to add the funky part of the funky bow. And that just entails a bunch of tails, right? So we have a piece of ribbon that I just pre-cut. We're going to pinch so that the loops are about 3 inches or so. And then we're going to have two tails underneath that. So most importantly, something as a designer that I've noticed from a lot of other designers and crafters out there, their biggest struggle is making things perfect and precise. This tail is a little bit shorter than this tail, and in the end, it's not going to make a huge difference. So in order to be more confident, you're going to have to take some risks and just create all different size loops and tails, and it'll create a really pretty bow. So don't be too caught up on the exact measurements.
I love this bright pop of color with the yellow.
Right? Isn't this perfect for spring?
Yeah, it's so pretty.
So Julene is from Washington. Yolanda's from Panama City. Hello, Yolanda. Nice to see you. Panama City. Kathy is new to our videos. Just bought a Bowdabra from southern New Hampshire. Awesome, Kathy. How many of you guys have a Bowdabra? Let me know down below if you don't have one and you struggle with bow making. It does make life a lot easier by having this tool. So as I
I
mentioned
have a
before,
bunch, Nick.
right? So I still have my original one. This is not my original one. My original one's somewhere else, just because I had two, one for the warehouse and one for here. And I still have it. How many years is that now, Alex?
Oh,
2011 is when I think I got it.
long
So they
time.
last a really long time. You know, unless you throw it across the room, you know what? I'm not going to guarantee it, but I've definitely stepped on mine a few times and it still is going strong. So they do last a really, really long time, but it doesn't hurt to have an extra one or two. Okay, so we have 4 loops now. You just got one. Amy has one. Julene has one. Okay.
Sorry, guys. Unfortunately, I can't see the comments tonight on my end, but Nick's staying on top of it.
Yes. So more importantly, I can see the comments, right?
Yes.
So talk to me, you guys. If you have any questions along the way, feel free to ask. My whole point with these videos is to get you to be a better, I don't want to say bow maker because that's what we're using to make the bows, but a better bow designer, we can say. So one of the things over the last 8 years of being a designer, um, that I've seen is a lot of people want to learn how to make bows, and a lot of people have no interest in making bows, but they want beautiful bows, right? So if you want to be that friend or neighbor or family member that can create beautiful bows and then end up charging for them because they turn out so pretty, then this is an easy technique right here. And then all the other bows I'm going to show you, you absolutely can do as well. So it might take a little bit of time. So for those of you that just started with bow making, it's not something that most people get overnight. The more you practice with it, the more you practice with ribbon and holding it and getting used to it, the better your bows will turn out. So now what we're doing is we're dovetailing. It really makes all the difference, you guys, in creating a beautiful bow. So this is what the blunt edge looks like. All I've done is I've just cut it, and this is what we're going to turn it into. So all you're going to do is take that tail, fold it in half, and cut from the middle out towards the wired edge at an angle, and look at how much better. It makes a huge difference, and I encourage you to do that to all of your tails. It does take a little bit of time, but it is worth it. Okay, so I see we're at almost 140 live viewers already. If you don't mind hitting that like and share button, I would greatly appreciate it. Let's see if we can hit 200 tonight. So look at all of these tails that we have on this bow. They are all different lengths. None of them are symmetrical. None of them are perfect. And in the end, it's going to create a really pretty bow. So don't, like I said before, get too caught up on exact measurements because it's really not going to make a huge difference. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off this excess wire. This is the wire that you would take to secure it to whatever you're enhancing, whether it be a swag, a wreath, a garland, a staircase, a banister, you name it. That's what you're going to use to tie it. I cut mine off because we actually hang these bows up on the wall and take pictures to show you guys how pretty they turn out. But we're going to have one that we secure to our wreath tonight. All right. How pretty is that? What do you guys think? Hey, Donna.
I love that.
Giselle said hello from Northern California. So California is 3 hours behind us in time. So right now it's only 4 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
About 4 o'clock. I felt it was 4 o'clock 15 minutes ago for me, you guys. That's how fast time flies by. So that is our first bow. What do you guys think of that? Show some hearts if you love it. Gloria says, hi, Nick. So pretty. Thank you, Gloria. So that is bow number 1. How easy was that? So pretty. All right. So now I want to do something kind of a perfect cross between spring and Easter. So we're going to switch gears and use our mini Bowdabra now. Ginger just made a bow with this a few moments ago. So Ginger, you have to share a picture with us. So in case you guys didn't know or aren't a part of our free groups, both Bowdabra and Nick Seasonal Decor have 2 completely free groups that you can find lots of inspiration in. So Bowdabra's is the Bowdabra Fan Gallery, and we have the Nick Seasonal Decor Crafting Community. So if you're looking for more resources and inspiration and, whatever, right? Because there's so many different talented designers in both groups, definitely join them. So now I'm going to try a funky bow. I don't think we tried a funky bow on the mini Bowdabra, but we're going to give it a shot. So we're going to use some of our 7/8 inch ribbon. We're going to create 1 loop and create a set of 2 tails. So essentially what we're creating is an awareness ribbon. That's what that looks like to me. And if you think of it in those terms, it makes it easier when it comes time for you to make bows. So we're going to take that. We're going to place it inside the Bowdabra, the mini Bowdabra. We've already worked in our wires and tucked them underneath. And we're going to come back in with another color, this really pretty lavender. So this I think would work great for spring. Well, I think it would work great for Easter first, right? And then through the entire season of spring. So spring here in Massachusetts can be through June. So we have a long, long spring season. And then it goes really quick from spring to summer, especially with the heat, right, Alex?
Definitely.
Okay, so we're going to do a few layers of this.
I love these colors together too.
Aren't they pretty?
Yeah.
So I am opening them up before I'm working them in. The only reason I'm doing that is when it comes time to fluff, it's going to be a little bit easier because everything's already kind of spaced and arranged perfectly. So you don't have to fluff it and open it at this point in time. You can actually do, and let me show you guys. So I'm cutting a piece. We have about a 2.5-inch loop and then about a 6 to 8-inch tail. So if you just keep them together, you can keep them like that. And then when it comes time to fluff, you can flip those sides, right? So it just depends on how easy you want it to be afterwards. I know some people like instant gratification, and having it already arranged on either side will definitely give you that. So I see we're at 166 live viewers. Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. So we're going to try 3 layers of each. So the mini Bowdabra is new to me and new to our website as well. And it's something that I first started to use, and I actually used it for the first time, 2 Bowdabra date nights ago, not date nights, 2 Bowdabras ago.
Yeah.
It was my first time ever using it. So the principles are the same as the large Bowdabra. The only concern that I had was how much ribbon I could fit into the mini Bowdabra. And I was pleasantly surprised, and I'm still pleasantly surprised. Look at how much ribbon we're working into this. We have 3 pieces of each of these ribbons, and this is wired ribbon, so it's a little bit thicker. And we still can fit a few more pieces. See how much room we have on either side? Do I measure my ribbon? Great question, Yolanda. I do not measure my ribbon. I'm a lazy designer. And I think when you start measuring it, it can get a little bit chaotic. So I just eyeball it, and if it looks good to the human eye, even if you're 1 inch, 2 inches off, it's not really going to make a huge difference. So now we're going to tie this from behind. Sheila is from Ireland. Hey, Sheila. Suzanne's from Central Kentucky. So I like to tie it 3 times to ensure that it's not going anywhere.
This would be super cute to add to like an Easter basket or anything as well.
Oh, yeah. So those viral Easter bunnies too.
Yeah.
How many of you guys, let me know down below or by a show of hearts, how many of you guys know those viral Walmart Easter bunnies? If you follow our page, you might have seen me design with them a lot over the last year or two. But you could actually just stick one of these right in the middle. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of the little bow it comes with. So you can find a matching ribbon. Those bunnies come in every color. And these ribbons come in every color. And you can just place this in the middle of it, kind of like as a bow tie. This would also be great for a lantern swag, a smaller lantern, and a smaller wreath too. Okay, just dovetailing like we did before for the best effect. We have 2 tails left. There we go. And then we have to just clean up all those little pieces. Hey, Libby. Libby's from Damascus, Virginia. Anne loves watching me from Texas. Thank you, Anna. I appreciate that. So now we can fluff it. So the same bow that we just created on the large Bowdabra using a 1.5-inch ribbon, 1 ribbon, we created using the mini Bowdabra with 2 ribbons. And look at how different these 2 bows look. So all we're doing is just pulling apart those loops, pulling apart those tails. Since it's wired, it holds its shape better than non-wired ever could. And look at how cute. So the more time you spend on it, the better it'll look, right? But we got bows to teach here on Bowdabra. So always come back and check later on because Bowdabra does share pictures of the bows that we create once we take pictures and hang them up. But what do you think? Isn't that cute?
I love it.
Christine's watching from Midland, Texas. Otia's from Texas, watching from Indiana. Thank you guys. Yes, drop those comments. You could win a free roll of ribbon tonight. And I see we're at 180 viewers. Let's see if we can hit 200 live viewers tonight. All right, coming back in with another length of wire. So if I go too fast showing you guys the wire, here is going to be a slow down version. So I just have the wire. I'm going to cut a length. I always encourage you to cut it longer than you need. This is the same spool that I've been using for the last 8 months, Alex. What do you think?
Yeah, a very long time.
A very long time. So,
and he's made a lot of bows
I made
with it.
a lot of bows with that. So it lasts a long time. And wasting a foot or two, I mean, nobody likes to waste anything, but you're better off being safer than sorry, making sure that you have enough ribbon. So now, look at how
Actually, Nick, I'm going to interrupt you really quick. One of the cool things is if you're using it in the big Bowdabra, then you probably can use your extra wire in the mini Bowdabra.
Absolutely. Great point, Sandy. So like that little piece that I had left over, if you're creating a tiny bow, you can just use that to tie it off. So now we're going to use this pretty spring ribbon, and I think I'm going to show you guys a traditional bow without tails. So this would be pretty, like Alex mentioned earlier with the last bow, this would be pretty on the top of an Easter basket. So there is our first loop right there. Coming back in, the more loops you have, the more full your bow is going to be. So it really just depends on your project. That's a question, and I think you can agree with me there, Alex, that we get asked a lot. How many loops? How many loops should I work in? How do I know how many loops? And the best answer I can give you is to practice with your bows, and the more comfortable you get with kind of gauging how many loops you'll need to create the bow that you want, it'll be easier when it comes time to design whatever project you're creating. So typically my recommendation is between 3 and 5 loops. If I'm going for a super showy full bow, we might work in 5 to 7, 7 plus. It really just depends. If it's a tree topper, we gotta have a lot of loops on those. Okay. Can you buy the roll of wire? Yes. So both Bowdabras, the large, the mini, the silver wire, the gold Bowdabra wire, and the ribbons can be found at nicksseasonaldecor.com. All right, so how about we make a really full bow? I don't think we've done that in a long time. So we have 5 loops on this side, and then we have 5 loops on the other side. So this one I would say at this point in time is the standard size bow. But we're gonna come back in with a few more because let's see how full we can get this.
Why not?
Might as well, right?
Yeah.
And then if we have a long enough piece, we could add a tail right in the middle and see how that'll look. I don't think I've ever tried adding a tail to the top of our Bowdabra.
Nick, Yolanda asked if you can use 1-inch ribbon with a large Bowdabra, and yes, Yolanda, you definitely can.
Absolutely. So 1 inch isn't a standard size, I would say, I see a whole lot. Typically it's 1.5 inch, but obviously it can vary. 1 inch would be perfect to use on both Bowdabras, in all honesty. If you're going for a bow this thick, where we have 8 loops on either side, you know, if we really squish it down, and you can use your Bowdabra wand for that. It does come with a wand in each kit, so that's the difference between wands. You can take that and you can compress your bow to make it a little bit smaller. Oftentimes you guys don't see me, or hardly ever do you guys see me use this, because ever since I first started way back in 2011, I've just squished my bows like that. But just depending on how many loops and how thick your ribbon is really what's going to decide whether you use your mini Bowdabra or your large Bowdabra. So now I have 1 length of tails, just the leftover piece from the spool. Let's try working those in the front and see how a bow looks with the tails in the front. Okay, so now to finish off the bow, and I see we just hit 200 live viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're gonna take our wire, and I wanna show this again because I know this part can get a little bit confusing. So here we have our wires. I just took them from underneath. As I mentioned before, I tuck them under to get them out of the way. You're gonna have 1 loop and then 2 cut ends of the wire, just because we folded it over. Doesn't matter which wire is on which side. We're gonna take it, pull those 2 cut pieces through that loop, and just pull it through. So now it's tight enough that we can walk away from it without it falling apart, but not tight enough to secure it anywhere else. So now we're gonna take those wires, tighten it, flip our bow over, and tie from behind. And I see we're up to 225 live viewers. Thank you guys for tuning in. So I like to tie it 3 times to ensure that it's not going anywhere. You guys know how awful that would be, right? Having a beautiful wreath, a beautiful bow, and then having it fall apart. So since we sell our designs, I always like to make sure that we go the extra mile on keeping them more permanent. But if you're just doing this for your own home and you want to switch it out, you can make it less permanent, and that way you can take apart the bow a little bit easier and then use the ribbon elsewhere. You can absolutely take this bow apart and work in little loops into your Christmas tree or Easter tree or whatever you're designing. It doesn't always have to be a big showy bow for the best effect. Look at that. That's kind of fun.
Ooh, that's super pretty.
Isn't that pretty?
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, I'm doing well. I hope you are too. Let me make sure it's pretty first. You guys know I have to check.
That's extra full.
It's extra full. So show some hearts if you guys like that. I think that turned out very pretty. And I don't mind the tails being tucked in like that either. Kind of creates more of a 3D effect. So Bowdabra just said you have a few more minutes to comment below where you're watching from to be entered to win a free roll of scrunchy ribbon. It ain't gonna cost you anything, and who doesn't want a free roll of ribbon? So now let's create the bow for our wreath. We're gonna switch gears and use our large Bowdabra. Actually, I think that's the one we've been using. So let's continue using it, I should say. and create a really pretty wreath for our, or pretty bow for our wreath. So I'm going to take that wire, I'm going to just tuck it in. So again, the slit on the top of it, we're going to take that wire, place it right into that slit, and tuck it underneath our Bowdabra. The whole point of tucking it underneath is because I like to rotate it. So the best thing about designing in general, whether it be wreath making, bow making, you name it, is that there's so many different designers out there that will be teaching you so many different ways of creating what they create. So I like to rotate my Bowdabra, and it seems to work really well for me. So if you guys do the same, let me know down below. I would love to know how many of you guys think it's easier. So we're going to start with the 7/8 inch horizontal ribbon. So just like the last ribbon, but instead of polka dots, we have stripes. Hey, Anne from West Springfield, Massachusetts. Lots of Massachusetts in the house tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. Buffalo, New York. So Buffalo, New York always comes to mind because we had a wreath convention that I was a designer at in Rochester, New York, and Buffalo wasn't too far. And then the following year, they just got hit with the worst snowstorm imaginable. It was like 10 feet of snow that winter. I didn't hear anything about that this year, so hopefully they didn't get as much snow. So we're going to work in as much ribbon as we can. I'm not sure how much is left on this spool, but creating bows, you guys, don't be wasteful. Don't throw away half the rolls of ribbon that you might have lying around. You might only have a foot or two, and if we have time, I'll show you guys how to create a cherry blossom bow using just a little tiny bit of ribbon. You know, if you don't have enough to create a super showy bow, you can pair it up with other ribbons that match and do it that way and, you know, make something pretty out of it. We try to be as zero waste as possible. Okay, so that's how many loops we were able to create. So to tie it off, again, we're going to take those wires from underneath. Hi, my Lisa. Pull them through. And tighten it. So it looks like we ended up with 5 loops on either side. So this is going to be a slightly airier bow. So now we can come back to our grapevine. And this has got to be one of the chunkiest grapevines I have ever seen. So this is one of our, I think, is this our 14 or 16?
I think this is our 14,
I think
actually.
it's our 14. But it's a very chunky grapevine. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to tie it around like so. And tie it really, really tight. We want to keep this nice and secure. You sound better. How are you feeling? Thank you so much, my Lisa. I am feeling much better. I want to say it was just allergies, I think. Me and Dad had bad allergies this week. And hopefully that's not a sign of when real allergy season starts to hit, right? In the next few weeks or so. So we're going to fluff this bow open. As I said before, very lightweight and airy. Not congested by any means. And I think sometimes for spring and summer, the best bows you can create are the ones that are a little bit lighter. That way it's not so bulky on your design. Look at how pretty that is. So that is the bow. And now, I have bows everywhere. We're going to work in a little bit of greenery. So I have this ivy bush. How is baby Stevie doing? He is doing great, as cute as can be. Since me and Dad were sick this week, we didn't want to take any risks, but Alex and Yaya actually went to visit him, and they said that he's 18 pounds now.
18 pounds. He's a big boy, but he is
boy.
absolutely adorable.
Nina says, that is a thick grapevine. I know, Nina. Isn't that crazy? Look at this thing. Okay, so let's work in some greenery. We're going to kind of spiral this out around the bow. Felicia said he is such a cutie, right, Felicia? And thank you so much for your order. I believe your order went out today. Okay, a few more pieces. Yolanda says, yes, he is. I've seen pictures earlier of him. He's just grown. I didn't realize how fast babies grow. Like, you know, because he's kind of like the first baby that I've really dealt with, right?
Yeah.
And none of us changed. None of us changed that quick, but it can go a week or two and he's a completely different
I know
Kid.
he's outgrowing all of his new clothes. It's so funny.
Felicia said it did. I am so excited. That's what I thought, Felicia. I was like, wait, didn't her order go out today? So just dipping these stems into our hot glue skillet and poking them right in. So I'm going to stick one in the bow. See how pretty that looks when you actually kind of incorporate your materials into the bow. I'm a huge fan of doing that, and I've been doing it for a long, long time. It just kind of softens it. So especially with bows like this that are a little bit more lightweight and airier, it just creates for a really stunning effect. So I'm going to take this leaf, I'm going to tuck it in here as well.
Ooh, this bow color blends so perfectly with
I
this
know, doesn't it?
greenery.
Very,
Ariana's mama on YouTube says she loves the green.
thank you, Ariana. I appreciate that.
It's so pretty.
Or Ariana's mother, I should say. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like I said, this color scheme too is perfect for year round. And you can just interchange different things, work in some Easter eggs if you want for spring and Easter. You could work in St. Patrick's Day, even though that was yesterday. So definitely interchangeable. But now we're going to work in some clematis. We also have a few leaves of this as well. Hey, Rhonda from Wyoming. And look at how beautiful these are. So we're keeping it monochromatic tonight with the greens and the whites. Where do you get the wire cutter? So all of the products we're using tonight, from the greenery and flowers to the Bowdabras and the wire cutters, can be found from nickseasonaldecor.com. So let's work in 2 stems of these. I want this to be really full. I really like that this is kind of in trend right now. Trendy with, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like kind of like a fairy garden style,
Oh, yeah.
earthy, organic. I don't know the word for it, but you guys get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, this white really pops with this color scheme too.
Yeah, especially with the bow having a little bit of white in it. We're kind of tying in the green through the greenery and then the white through this clematis vine. So funny thing is this plant right here that we're using in my garden is the most expensive plant that I ever paid full price for about 15 years or so ago. Yaya was going to kill me. It was just it was like one little stick. There was no flowers, no greenery, no nothing. And here
We
we
have a
are all.
winner. The winner is Marianne Hernandez from Southern California. So Marianne, just make sure you PM Bowdabra and let us know if you want the gold, silver, or red Bowdabra scrunchie ribbon.
Yes, I was just about to get to there. So congratulations to Marianne.
Congratulations, Marianne.
Okay.
Wow, these flowers are really pretty.
I think so too. I love this color scheme. But like I said, you
It's
can work in
beautiful.
whatever colors you might already have on hand, or seasonal touches. You can work in if you have like a little sign for any given holiday or season. Pair it up with this. Okay, last piece. We'll tuck it in here. And then we have a very nature inspired, I guess we can call it, floral wreath. And we have a couple leaves left that we might as well stick somewhere.
Ooh, it's so full. I love it.
It works great for spring, but it can move right into summer.
Definitely. We can fluff our loops. That's all in the fluff, you guys. It doesn't matter what quality ribbon you're using. When you spend an extra minute or two fluffing everything out, it really creates the best effect.
Wow, I love this.
Isn't that pretty?
So pretty.
And you can stop at whatever stopping point. And I think they make great gifts for teachers, friends, and family. And it doesn't break the bank. 10, 15 bucks for a pretty wreath. You guys know I gotta check. So show some hearts if you guys love this. And I think we are out of time. So let me show you guys a quick rundown as to what we created. We have this wreath with that beautiful bow. We created this bow. We tried something different with this one by working in our tails at the surface. And I think we should start doing that more often. I think that looks pretty, having them kind of pushed forward like that. So that one is extra loop traditional bow. We created a funky bow with tails using 1.5-inch wired ribbon. and the large Bowdabra. And then we did the same technique, same principles, without the tails, 2 ribbons, and 7/8 using the mini Bowdabra. So same technique, and look at how different bows can really look, switching out the ribbons and the thicknesses and working in tails or no tails. So that, double checking, all right, all the bows that we made tonight. So thank you all so much for joining tonight. Congratulations again to Marianne for winning a free roll of scrunchy ribbon. We will see you all next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then for April, we are live the last 2 Mondays of the month, which I'm not sure the dates are, but the last 2 Mondays. So thank you again. Thank you, Sandy, for having us as a guest. And
Thank
yeah,
you,
stay.
Nick. It was great having you. And Alex, too. Thanks, you guys. We'll see you
Thank you.
Yes.
next week.
Thank you guys. Good night.
Bye.